If y'all are unfamiliar with me, this is Quantum Crimes, okay? And here we have been going crazy talking about Celeste Rivas Hernandez on my TikTok account, which is Quantum VP. So if you are from the Quantum VP TikTok, then you already know what we have been talking about over the last month or so, 2 months maybe. But now we have some more information that is completely diabolical here, right? It says LAPD states no evidence of murder in ongoing D4VD and Celeste Rivas investigation, y'all. So it seems as though Celeste will not, and I repeat, she will not get justice here. Because in California, they can move a dead body around and wrap it in plastic or black tarp, right? Throw it in the trunk of their car. And that just be the end of it. I mean, there is no reason for you or anyone to be arrested or be criminalized here. Yet we have a deceased 14-year-old minor who was most likely, based off of the information that we have, dating D4VD. I'm just going to read a couple of sentences here from this article, and then we're going to go on to a couple of videos that we got set up here. Let's take a look. It says, the Los Angeles Police Department has stated that there is no evidence suggesting murder in the ongoing investigation involving the musician D4VD, better known as David Anthony Burke, and the death of teenager Celeste Rivas. Authorities found Rivas' body in the boot of a Tesla registered to the artist, leading to widespread speculation online about their alleged relationship and possible foul play. I don't know how much foul play you cannot get from this. This screams foul play everywhere. It just does, right? Doesn't it? Let's move on. Here we have Steve Fisher, the guy that's been on the ground doing a lot of the leg work that we would have assumed that the LAPD would have been doing by now. He found the email that that David Anthony's manager said that he never received regarding Celeste. And it states early in the case, he said, I released information about an email that had been sent to David's manager, Josh Marshall, and another person notifying them that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was a missing person. Josh publicly denied this in a TikTok comment, claiming it was not true. Yet, we have evidence of it right here. Hope you all can see this. Right? Here it is. This is to D4VD at mogul.vision. I don't know. I don't know who sent it. It was sent February 19th, 2024. We got dates at 4:13 a.m. in the morning, y'all. Right? Am I tripping? All right, let's read. It said there's been talk that the artist D4VD possibly has something to do with the disappearance of the 13-year-old Celeste Rivas. If that statement holds any merit, please do the right thing and take her home. Her parents are very worried. And there's the picture right here. There's the picture of Celeste missing. Poster that was posted by her family. So you cannot say that you did not know that she was a missing person. How is this not criminal? This is 1000% criminal right here. This criminalizes you beyond anything else. Let's move on. Here we have more information from Steve Fisher. Steve Fisher has been holding it down for us, giving us all the information that the police department has been hiding from us or keeping on hush hush, right? So we want to see what else he had to say. We're not going to watch the whole video. We're just going to try to find the high points, and then we're going to go from there. But let's take a listen.
Person's private investigator who is hired by the owner of the property that David was staying at in LA. Now, remember, this property was nearby where that Tesla was found. And as you may recall, the owner wants some more information about what role his house, his property, may have played in this, if any. And you may also remember, if you've been following us here on Sidebar, that we have interviewed Steve before. And when it came to what may have been found at that house, the house that David moved out of, that was searched by authorities, here's what Steve said to us on a previous episode.
But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her. And it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like, will blow your mind.
And Steve,
I'm going to say this is possibly alleged, right? I believe that Celeste I hate to say this, I believe she was sacrificed for the greater good of D4VD's career. Like I said, I believe that Celeste was sacrificed. Which is crazy, right? It's crazy to be able to say something like that. Because if she's not going to get justice, then what was the point of him even having her around? Of her being unalived, right? Because if he get off on this, then there must have had to have something in the background that was keeping him safe. Because in any other case, this is a open and shut case, right? In any other case, this is an open and shut case. So I can't see a world where Celeste being unalived in the way that she was, in the manner that it happened, and not being some ulterior reason behind it. I can't see that. But let's continue.
Joins us now. Steve, good to see you again. I'm really happy to have you. I mean, you've been on the ground there. You're investigating this. Let's start here. The big news. When the LAPD confirms with KTLA that its prior news release stands on its own, does that signify to you, hey, listen, we have no evidence that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was killed, that homicide charges are not warranted here, that that's our final conclusion? Or is that saying we don't have evidence at this point?
So I think what it's saying is that they're still relying on what's going to come back from the medical examiner's office, since there's not a determination there, at least publicly. Now, are they in contact with the medical examiner? Absolutely. But listen, I don't think that's unintentional. They've been so tight-lipped. I think there has to be something to read into that. That, again, I think the purpose of the initial release was to, get everybody possibly prepared that this isn't a homicide. And now they're saying we still don't have anything that shows that it is. But there's other, listen, a crime definitely occurred.
How is this not a homicide? Okay, let's just say that. Let's say that she took some medication or she overdosed, right? Why not call the ambulance? Why not call 911? Save her life, right? That's what any normal human being would do. I mean, this is costing you your career anyway, right? So why not do the right thing? Call the police, get her some help, and then continue on with your life. And then whatever falls down after that, then you can have something to say. But now you've taken this girl away from her family. This is her, Celeste. She has been removed from the earth. Her life has been disposed of in the trunk of his car. In the trunk of his car. They took her away from here. Her innocence was removed from her before she could even know how innocent she was. That's crazy. Let's move on.
And they even say that at least concealment of the body. But there's other crimes I hope they're investigating, such as the relationship. I understand it's a tough case to make because she's not around anymore. She can't testify, but it doesn't mean because it's hard, it shouldn't be, pursued.
I'm going to talk about what potential charges could be here in a second, but just going back to this, they have to be in contact with the LA County Medical Examiner. Does that mean that right now the LA County Medical Examiner is like, I need more information. I don't have a conclusion yet. Last time you and I were speaking, you said it's possible that the LA County Medical Examiner may be releasing the cause and manner of death of Celeste soon, because you were looking at the website and it was showing that they were reviewing cases. There was a backlog and maybe Celeste is going to come up. Does it signify to you, yeah, we spoke to them. There's nothing to determine that she was killed by anyone, which could raise questions about how she died? Or is this a situation where, they again, yeah, they spoke to them. Yeah, it's possible Celeste was killed, but we're just not revealing that at this point in time.
What happened then? What happened? So if they don't find drugs or anything like that in her system, what happened? She had a heart attack? She had a stroke? And he just left her there to die? No, I can't see that being a thing. Somebody could have been like, oh, we found her on the street and now we bringing her to the hospital. Anything, right? To save her life. If that was your girlfriend and you was so in love with her and you wasn't trying to ploy a romantic homicide to make your image a reality. It's crazy.
Yeah, so the LA County Medical Examiner's Office has their own in-house investigators also, and in fact, they publicly say on the site who the investigator on the case is. So I'm sure they're working with robbery homicide, and it may be a case that, let's say, they did get a good toxicology result back, but it's not.
Look at her. Look at her. That is a little girl. That's a baby. This pisses me off to the highest level of festivity because it makes no sense. In any other situation, the truth would be out. Everybody would know. But now this situation, nobody knows nothing. She been decomposed for too long. How long she been in the car since? January? February? Or has she been in there since June, July? Because her cousin, her friends say they've been getting text messages from at the end of June, July, whatever. So where was she? You tell me. I don't think anyone can tell me what happened where it would make sense, right? The only thing that makes sense is that D4VD unalived her for his own sadistic purposes. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Now, if someone else did it, then somebody needs to be talking. Because at this point, if you come out of it, you did it. I don't care what nobody say. Let's continue.
It's not an overdose. Now it throws it back into, okay, so then you got really limited options. It's either homicide or, if she took her own life. Then they'd really have to dig in, because if it wasn't glaringly obvious from the initial autopsy, in other words, if there's not a gunshot wound or something like that, then, they're going to have to maybe get forensic anthropologists involved that specialize in trying to make these determinations on severely decomposed bodies, which can take a while. And they might be consulting with outside pathologists to see if they got it to get comfortable with a possible determination. But something, like you said, I've been tracking those other cases and they've come back with toxicology now. In fact, she's the only one of 26 deaths on September 8th that doesn't have a cause and manner. And so it's a little bit, it's concerning, but which way it goes is hard to tell, because they could have, needed additional testing.
Because you thought by this point we might have had a release. You thought by this point we might have more information.
Right.
If they got a good toxicology, let's say it came back and it was clearly an overdose of some sort, whether somebody administered that or she took it herself and it was an accident is a different thing. The cause would be, rote manner would be whether it was self-administered or administered by someone else. I would think that there would have been some sort of indication by now, and that could be then initial charges could be dropped. I don't know why initial charges couldn't be dropped now, even if they have the stack on top of them, because I know that they'll probably say,
nobody's going to tell me that is not Celeste right here in this picture. I don't give a damn. Can any of y'all tell me that that's not Celeste right here in this picture? That is her. She was with him. Her cousin Esmeralda was with him. They went to Six Flags. Probably her parents was there. None of that negates the fact that she is no longer here. And that is where I am with this. If she was still here, she can speak for herself and then we can know what happened. But who knows what happened in the in-between time of them being quote unquote in love and not being in that anymore. It's a possibility that they went through a breakup. As he mentioned, he broke up with his girlfriend, right? And it could have been Celeste. And who's to say that the breakup didn't cause him to unalive her? Because as y'all seen, if you haven't seen it, in the video of her yelling at her neighbors, she is a firecracker. Okay, she is. Let's look at it real quick. Hold on. Let's find it.
Hey, bro. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk?
Number two, not that.
Look.
Number two, right there.
Let me talk real quick, okay? You gonna let me talk?
I ain't gonna let you talk.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping?
I ain't tripping.
Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? All right, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
I see you.
Boom. She felt like she was a woman. She said it out of her own mouth. She felt like she was a woman. She felt like she was grown, and it's because of what her family allowed for her to do. That still doesn't negate the fact that she was 13, 14 years old. She was still a child. And probably D4VD couldn't handle how mature she was for her age in this aspect of her life. And boom, she's not here anymore. I think I'm gonna end it there because we pushing for time. And this case will probably forever be on the forefront of my mind because it doesn't make any sense. RIP to Celeste. If y'all want to see more videos like this, hit the like, share, comment. And y'all on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to your boy. We want to get justice for Celeste. But at this point in time, we want to get justice for Celeste. Right? Don't we? Even without the crime community, you want this child to get justice. Right? But based off of the LAPD and the laws in California, that shit ain't happening. And if it do, thank God. But at this point, I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to happen. It's pitiful, man. Holla at your boy, man. Pitiful shit.